Welcome and thanks for being here. Alright there, welcome back to another support video. In this video, we're working on basic Cuban motion. So for beginners, we're just starting it out. We're looking at it in the Mambo basic without the rotation. Okay, this is just enough to get you started, give you more of that authentic Mambo look, a little bit more grounded, and getting those knees going, bending and straightening. Okay, definition of Cuban motion is the bending and straightening of the legs. It has nothing to do with your hips. Your hips are a byproduct of it, okay? So forget about the hips right now, and let's just think about the bending and straightening of the legs. So first thing we're gonna do is a little warm up, just to get this feeling, okay? I want you to stand split weight, and then what you're gonna do is take your weight over to one side, okay? So kind of shift your weight into one leg. When you do that, I want you to allow the other knee to bend. Okay, so this knee is bending and this leg is straight. Okay, then what you're going to do is switch to the other side. Okay, now notice right now we've got our weight in the straight leg, okay, and no weight in the bent leg. From here, I want you to take your weight to the bent leg so that you can pick up the straight leg. Very good, and move it back, okay? So weight on the straight leg, weight on the bent leg. I want you to feel the difference between those two things, okay? Why? Because part of Cuban motion is stepping on a bent leg, okay? Not on a straight leg, all right? So it's very similar, like if we were to, when you do this every day, well, maybe not every day, but in like natural life, going up and down the stairs, right? When you step up on a stair, you're loading up this bent leg and you're pushing up, right? And you're pushing into that bent leg to propel yourself up, right? That's what we're doing on a flat floor, okay? So again, split weight, shift your weight over to the straight leg, okay? Because that's just kind of normal and common. But now what you're gonna do, make sure the other leg is bent, okay? Heel is down, and then put your weight over in that leg, okay? Make sure your knee isn't past your toes or else you're gonna get some knee issues. So it doesn't have to be super bent, okay? But there's weight in that. And then what I do is straighten it, okay? So you need to get used to that feeling of putting weight into a bent leg and then straightening it, okay? Let's try it on the other side. So we're gonna bend my legs, my outfit's a little ridiculous today, but that's okay. Us dance instructors can be ridiculous. So now bending the other leg, right? And I'm putting weight into it. And then straighten. Bend, straighten. Just get used to that feeling, because that's a different feeling. We don't really walk like that. We go upstairs like that, but we don't walk like that. Okay? Now, what we're gonna practice, let me show you what it's gonna look like. Put my legs back down here. So I'm gonna be a lead, okay? But the idea is that we're going to step onto, I'll go from the side, step onto a bent leg. Change and step onto a bent leg. See that? Step onto a bent leg. Bend, 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 okay? So in our basic, we have forward, rock, side, back, rock, side, right? We're not gonna go straight legs. Okay, and we're not going to go two bent legs. We're going to do one bent and one straight. How do you know which is which? The foot you are moving onto, or the leg you're moving onto, is going to be the bent leg. So bend. Now, I want to move back to my right foot, so I got to switch my legs. Bent, straight. One must be bent, one must be straight. Okay, so instead of trying to figure out which is which, right? You're just always thinking about arriving onto a bent leg. Switch it, okay? Switch the weight, arrive onto a bent leg in the back. Switch the weight, arrive on a bent leg in the front. Straighten that leg and come onto a bent leg. So a good practice here is to start in like a little lunge position, side to side. Put your weight on that bent leg. Now, as you straighten it and step onto that foot, push your spine over to the next side and make sure you arrive on a bent leg. Push and arrive onto a bent leg. Push, arrive onto a bent leg. Push, arrive onto a bent leg. Straighten, arrive onto a bent leg. So as I finish this step, right, I'm finishing my weight transfer. Now I'm going to my next leg. I have to make sure I bend that leg. Okay, it might feel like you're gonna fall a little bit. That's okay, get used to that feeling. That's why we dance with good posture to help with our control. Okay, but this side to side action is really gonna start giving you that feeling of straightening a weighted bent leg and then moving your weight over onto another bent leg. Always arriving onto a bent leg, always leaving the straight leg, right? And they alternate. Right, so now when that gets more confident and you can do that pretty easily, then you're gonna try to start doing forward action with it, like a forward rock. So I'm gonna come forward, I'm gonna straighten that knee and then arrive onto my back bent knee, right? Straighten and arrive forward, straighten and arrive back, straighten and arrive forward. Now all we have to do is straighten and arrive to our side step. So if we remember our basic, we want to go forward, back, side, back, forward, side, right? So every time I land on the foot, that leg needs to be bent, okay? So that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking bent, 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 bend, 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 okay? For some people, it's easier to think about straightening the bent leg after it's there. That's me, actually. So once I'm here, I don't think about bending this leg, okay? I think about straightening this leg and anchoring down and pushing myself, like literally pushing through that leg to my next step, wherever it needs to be. That might help, okay? So here, you're gonna anchor. Now where do I want my next step to be? Forward, okay? I'm going to make sure my leg bends and step forward. I'm going to anchor it. Where my next step? It's a rock back, right? So I'm going to bend my leg and arrive on it. I'm going to anchor it down or straighten it and then go to my next step onto a bent leg. Okay? So with each step, you have the bend, right? The straighten. And then you transfer and start all over. Transfer, bend, straighten. Transfer your weight and bend into it, straighten. Again, a good check is to make sure you do have all your weight, because a lot of times we'll be like this, and see now I do have one straight and one bent, but my weight is not in my bent leg, okay? That's more of a Latin motion versus a Cuban motion. Small details, okay? So again, the weight has to be in the bent leg. That is Cuban motion. Okay, that's what gives it that grounded look, okay, and that authenticity look, okay? So as a follow, we're going back first, right? So you're going to straighten your left leg and arrive into a bent leg on the back step. Smaller steps make it easier, especially when you're first learning. Straighten that right leg, arrive forward on a bent leg. Straighten the left, arrive sideways on a bent leg. Straighten the right, arrive forward on a bent leg. Check your weight. Is all your weight forward? Good. Straighten it, change your weight back on a bent leg. Check, is all your weight there? You may have to move your hips back a little bit more, shorten your step, okay? Straighten the leg, arrive on a bent leg. Straighten, arrive on a bent. Straighten, arrive on a bent. Straighten, arrive on a bent. I encourage you just to do like forward walks, right? Back walks, side, right? And then try to put it into the basic. Some common things that happen. There are two ways we can bend our leg, okay? We can bend our leg by doing what I've been doing, right? And by just bringing the knee forward a little bit. Okay, not too much, because again, going past the toe is going to cause knee problems. So just bringing that knee forward. Now it's bent. That is the correct way to do it. We can also bend our knee, right, by picking up our heel. This would be the wrong way, because now I'm lifting up off the floor and nothing is grounded, and I'm not going to have any hip action in the future. Okay, so this is a no-no. When you're first learning, try to keep those heels flat, okay, so that your bending of your legs comes from bringing that knee forward and down into the ground versus up. See the difference? So flat feet is a good general rule when you're first learning because it helps force you to be down into the ground and bend that knee the correct way versus lifting it up this way. Okay? That is it. Let me know if you have any questions. Have fun with it. Start walking around your house with some Cuban motion. It has to be natural, okay? And it takes some time to do that. So please, if you've been working on this for a while, you're not alone. Start doing it in your everyday. Like I said, you're walking to your different room, or maybe you're in the grocery store trying to decide which brand of salt to get, right? Do some Cuban motion while you're thinking, right? Just start applying it in different places so it becomes natural. All right, until next time, I'll see you guys.